Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video we are going to go over some consignments. Not too many of them, but there are some upcoming that will be starting on this Thursday, running for 10 days, and I'll tell you why they're not currently active. And then I have a few other things that I want to go over with you guys. So let me show you some of these items. Some of them are different. I'm not going to go into a bunch of them, but like this right here is a PlayStation 1 game. I never played Thrasher Presents Skate and Destroy. Kind of looks cool, but I mean, I guess I played the more mainstream Tony Hawk. I don't know if this was a game that was really popular, but maybe you guys let me know. There's some other games as well that have been graded by WATA. They're for like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I'm not going to show them all to you guys, mainly because they're so big. Next up, we have some more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. We have another Tactical Evolution First Edition booster box. This is the same guy who's been sending some of these in, and yeah, it's kind of cool seeing all these different boxes, getting a feel for some of these sets that I never played, but that are considered like retro, and you know they go for a pretty decent price. But the same guy sent in some tins as well. Not a bunch of them, but I thought this was kind of cool. I never got into like the whole Cyber Dragon era. I wasn't playing during the GX stuff. However, I do recognize Cyber Dragon. Like that was one that it was very popular. I think you can do like three of them together, and Cyber End Dragon, maybe that's the fusion one, or I could be mixing that up with some other Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was something like that, kind of like a Blue Eyes White Dragon to the Blue Eyes Ultimate. But there were two other tins as well that were sealed that he's selling from that same era, and then there was some Harry Potter stuff that came in. Check out this booster box. I believe this is Quidditch Cup, but there was definitely a Hogwarts one. There was a base set, and then I think there was like an alternate language for one of the booster boxes. I always thought Quidditch was spelled a little bit different. That's Quit Ditch. Like I always thought it was like Q, like the DIDGE, like almost like a bridge, like Quidditch, but it's Quidditch. I've been, I mean, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. However, I have seen the Harry Potter series a few times. It's a nice, clean series you can watch with the family, even though there is some death and stuff in it, but it's nothing like too crazy. Definitely don't want to be watching it with like your young children because it might give them some nightmares and things with all the ghosts and the things that they have going on there. We have another one of these. So we have this Silver Fang Magic and Wizards print. I did put this up on IG, and I said, because I had one guy reach out to me and was like, hey, I've got some people asking me why TCA Gaming would sell this. They never said that to me, but he actually reached out to me and said this was going on. So there was the one guy who did talk to me directly about it. But I said, this has been certified. It is completely backed up by CGC, and I've reached out to them, and they're trying to get additional direct provenance from Konami. They haven't yet. But they're backing it up. They're putting their money where their mouth is with this card, and I think that's why it still sells. The last one I think went for $313. I believe that was the auction end of it. But I did a poll in a story, and it was about divided on the people who thought it was legit versus people who thought it was a replica, and I think the replica ended up having a little bit more, but the highest percentage ended up being, because I gave a third option, I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh expert, because that's almost where I fall as well. Like I feel like I've got a decent knowledge in Yu-Gi-Oh, more than your average Joe, but I'm not going to be up there with like your vintage, like who is it, vintage Pokemon? I think that's the one. Not vintage Pokemon, vintage Yu-Gi-Oh. Like he started going into some errors and things. I watched a few of his videos when he pulled one of those MSTs with the Jinzo kind of like silhouette in the background, like a ghost stamp of it for the Holofoil. It's like, you know what? I can tell the difference between the way he talks and the way that I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, and that there's just another level there, just a whole nother facet, and that comes from, it could just come from him selling, but it could also come from him being in the game for so long and just picking up little nuances that sometimes we don't think about picking up just from listening to people or constantly buying and selling. But anyways, it is up for sale. It'll go through the eBay authenticity guarantee. I assume it'll pass it since it's graded and backed up. But if it doesn't, I guess then I might have to stop selling them. But this one's going to be auctioned off not this Thursday, or it might be this Thursday, or maybe the following week after that, because I think he wanted to have them 3 weeks apart. We've also got this right here. Got a Machamp. This is a sealed first edition Machamp. Of course, it is just the standard version you get from the starter deck, but it pulled a 10, and that's not as easy as you might think it is with some of these sealed packs. Sometimes it's pretty tough to get that 10, and it's hard to tell how that happens. I do have some pretty cool purchases in here too. Just got to get around to them. Let's see what this is right here. Oh, this is actually this is one of the cards I've been purchasing. I think I mentioned it to you guys. I've been picking up the Charizard, the Blastoise, the Venusaur in like a trio for 151, the Japanese side, because I believe the price is really low right now because of how much was printed for 151 and how easy they are to grade. And then Japan has access to PSA as well. But I've been doing the same thing with the Magikarp. Not as many, but I picked up a few just because I see the price disparity between the same artwork on the Japanese side to the artwork on the English side. Now this right here is actually a charity auction. This was donated 100%, and it's actually going to the medical expenses for the Raws. Thank you guys for everyone who has donated to that. It's still open. Like, as long as you see this right here, you should be able to donate directly to them. I believe about $1,600 has been raised so far. Definitely appreciate that, guys. If you buy anything off of my eBay, remember, just send me a message, add a note, say, hey, could I have 10% of this donated for that, and I'll make sure that it gets donated. Now, Gary King Pokemon, the guy who's on Pawn Stars, the one who brought in the Charizards, he actually donated $1,000. So that was very generous of him. Definitely appreciate it. He actually was able to relate, and I'm not going to say like specifically who, but he had a family member that had a similar condition, and so it was really nice. He reached out. I had no idea that he even saw the video. That video didn't do very well, which is kind of understandable. This is a Pokemon channel, right? All right, but this was all donated by Late Nights in Johto. Definitely appreciate that, man. You can see you put in some Charizards in here. All gem mints in. Got a base 1999-2000 Charmander. Got an Old Maid Charmander. There's a Jolteon. Lance's Charizard V. Got a Machoke. Got a Mew 25th anniversary collection. There's a Mewtwo EX. Another Old Maid card. That's the Pikachu. And a couple of Rayquazas. And we're going to finish off with a Squirtle. So again, definitely appreciate it, man. And these are all labeled CSD. That's just consignment donation. So if you want to specifically bid on those, you can find those by searching CSD. I know sometimes when you go to my shop, it's a little bit overwhelming because I got so many buy nows. You can sort by auction, but usually it's easier to sort by title, and that's why I put that stuff at the end. Like you can find this Machamp if you're just looking for the one card, but like you could also just put CS3 in there and it'll pull it up. All right, next up we have, I bought these. So I got a Blastoise and a Charizard. I got these off of Fanatics, maybe? I think it was Fanatics. But the Charizard didn't do that great in price. It was, or it might have been Golden. I think it might have been Golden. No, I've got another purchase coming from Golden. But like the Charizard, I think it was only like 12 grand. Like that's the lowest I've seen a 9 for the big 3 companies in a while. Even CGC I think was bringing 15 to 17, and then PSA was like 20K. And then I picked up a Blastoise. I can't remember the exact price I paid on this one, but I want to say it was in like the $2,000 range, maybe a little less. And this one is really nice. I thought about trying to cross this sucker because I was looking at it. There are some scratches that you see, but it's actually on the case. The holofoil looks really good. The centering's really good. Even the condition on the back was really good. I was very much impressed with this one. I do not think the Charizard would cross. I think 9 is pretty much this card maxed out. And I'm going to keep that in my collection anyways. But if I could get the Blastoise out, I might try a cross on that. And you can see it's a 9+ as it is. The centering's 9.5, but to be fair, I don't even know why they counted off of the centering. The centering looks really good. I mean, I guess it's only 0.5 off. It's not that much. Next up, we have, some Weiss Schwarz. I don't do much with this, but if I get them in on consignment, I'll sell them. And then we also have 2 Charizards, base set in a 10. And these are going to be auctioned off on separate weeks. After my last auction, the guy who had these, he said, you know, I'm going to send mine to you because I've been trying to sell mine for a lot less than what your auction went for. And I was surprised. The auction went for $4,800 or $4,850, which was higher than what I had it at the buy now for. But sometimes when you send things to auction, it takes away what was on the buy now market, so it kind of raises the market, like the active market floor, and then it also forces buyers to decide, hey, do I want to go ahead and buy this? And if you have a competing buyer, then it can raise that price even higher than what the buy now was. That's usually not the case, but sometimes with cards that like this, that can be very popular, have a lot of watchers, it can happen that way. So I'm going to be auctioning off one, and then I'm going to be auctioning off the other. And if you can kind of tell, this one almost has like a ruby feel to it. See how much darker it is? This is the one that ends in 1/8. This one's a little bit lighter. Sometimes people pay a premium for the Charizards that have like the ruby color to it, but I wouldn't say that this one's so saturated that I would give it the I would actually refer to it as a ruby Charizard, because some of them can be very, very red, have that extra saturation going on. Also, we have this right here on the website. If you notice, the box that was opened up during the live was this Green Wing Charizard that had the one location. If you guys remember, I said, hey, you know, I'm a little concerned about the wrap on it. I knew it had been in my personal collection for a long time. I decided to open it, and I opened it. I weighed all the packs. There were 12 heavies, and there was actually one super heavy pack that I ended up, you know, I just put back in the box. I didn't open it up. I think it just has an extra common card. I don't think it's actually a heavy, but I decided, since we didn't have any vintage for the live that was on this prior Tuesday night, I would go ahead and open the box back up. I'm going to shuffle all the packs together. So we mix them up, and then we'll sell them as unweighed. So these are available now. They are a little bit more expensive, mainly because it's my last vintage WotC set that I have on hand right now that I want to open. I should be getting more in, but also my prices went up, and this was like a harder to find variation. But the cards inside, they should just be regular base. We haven't opened up any of the packs yet. We did have one sell. It was ended up being a light. So if you buy them for the live videos, what we'll do is live, we'll go ahead and weigh out the pack. If it ends up being a light, then I'll just ship it to you sealed. There's no point in opening up the light pack. This way you can still have some preserved value from the pack actually being sealed. But if it is a heavy, then we'll go ahead and open it up. And if you buy these to have shipped to you sealed, I'm not going to weigh them. I'll just ship them to you unweighed. However, if you buy them unweighed and you say, hey, could you weigh them out for me before you ship them to me sealed, I can do that, but you just have to understand, I'm going to just pull it out of the stack, and then whatever you get is what you get. You might get a light pack, or if you get a heavy, then I can put a little tamper evidence sticker on it as heavy. That's what I've done in the past, and it seems to work okay. If you're new to this channel, yes, it's completely you trusting me. That's pretty much what it is, but you should almost expect that with any vintage pack that you get. You pretty much have to know who the seller is, and you've got to trust them, because if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be buying from them. These are very expensive, and it's very, like, if you don't know me from Adam, then this is something that can be easily, you know, taken advantage of. So don't always just take someone's handshake for it, be like, yeah, it's going to be a good deal. Make sure you're protected. Make sure you know who you're buying from. All right, and then last but not least, I was sent these by Jim Mint Ben. So I thought these were pretty cool. I get reached out to quite often for promotions, but most of the time it's, you know, just silly stuff that really shouldn't be on the channel. But I thought this was pretty cool, and I told him, you know, I don't charge for promotions. I guess I could. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I said, if you want to send me a couple products, I'll look at it and I'll give you an honest review. So he sent me this. This was completely free to me. He sent it to me, and it showed up in a box. It looked like it was Amazon fulfillment. I will say, you might want to check who's fulfilling your stuff, because this was crushed pretty rough. It come in like a poly mailer type thing, so it wasn't very well protected. However, there was no damage to it, so it was fine. It showed up fine. But if you're listening, Jim Mint Ben, you might want to just check with whoever's shipping out your stuff and make sure that they're doing a good job, because I'd hate for something to show up and it was damaged. But this was not damaged. It showed up. In fact, it showed up in pieces. So like this had a like a piece of something other on the front of it to protect it, kind of like when you buy a new TV or something. These were not in here, but I'll show you how they come out. So these are just like little screw-in pieces, and they go into the corner. Now there were a couple different types of, or at least two different types of these. This one's almost raised, like if you want to put it on off of something. But they'd also come with 2 long ones. I don't know what the purpose of 2 long ones would be. Like maybe if you want to raise it up off of the ground on one side, because they were like, you know, 1.5 inches long, maybe 2 inches, and they screwed in as well. But this holds a single card. It's a raw card. This card is sleeved, so that might be why it looks a little grayed out. But I thought it was kind of cool because it extends the artwork for specific cards. I don't know if he can do it for any artwork, but he has specific templates on his website, like Moonbryon and, you know, other ones like that. But this is the Mew from S12. I don't even know what set that is. The Japanese sets, man, I'm a little bit behind on those. I've been buying mostly 151 for Japanese sets. I try to focus on the high class ones, because the ones that aren't high class that come with 30 packs, when I open those in the live, it's kind of rough. But anyways, I thought this was a pretty cool idea. Extending out the artwork on the cards. It's a lot of it, like this one right here, you can see the Nidoran. It's the same Nidoran in there, so it kind of pulls it out of the middle, I assume. This right here is just one where it was generated and stuck to the side there. And like this right here is it almost looks like the backside of the tail of the squirrels. So like this will be another Nidoran. Then you have the male Nidoran. Kind of tell with the color right there. And you can see where parts of, like that's the Cramorant. There's the backside of the Cramorant. The tree is extended. So it just kind of expands it out. And, you know, it protects your card. And I believe with this, you know, you'd be able to find a way you could hang it up on the wall. He does it also for graded cards. I told him that of the ones that he had on there, I had them mostly graded for CGC, but there were a few that I had in PSA. Like I don't have a Moonbryon in, well, I don't have a Moonbryon 10, period. But I did have this Charizard VMAX in PSA. So the card is mine. He sent me the case, and you can see it's a little bit more clear this way. It does not fit. Like you can't put a sleeve on the PSA graded card or the PSA graded case and then put that inside the case. Like this is just the case itself, and then there's another case. I mean, there's plenty of plastic to protect the card, but you can see it's got a cutout at the top for like all the wording for the PSA stuff. So you can see that, and then you can see the card on the inside. And it extends out the artwork. You can see his flame. It just kind of naturally goes right on up. And because there is some depth here, like you'll be able to tell. I mean, you can see like if you had to, but I think they did a really good job lining everything up. To me, this right here, that is a very nice display. Like if I had to pick, it would have to be the graded one. To me, although I don't know if I like this right here if you're trying to focus on the artwork, but it's still pretty nice. Like I think I would make it with this. Maybe even make an option without it. He might have it on there. I didn't look at everything on the website. I did see the VMAX. I was like, hey, if you just send me one of the VMAX, you know, I've got one of those graded. I can fit it in there. He said he was working on other grading companies as well, but right now he has the PSA and he has the raw. Backside, you can see this is a little bit different. This one goes more flush because it's just like a screw. It's a Phillips head. It was pretty simple to put together. You can see where your card's protected there. So overall, I think these are pretty cool. It's different from like the graded guard, and it's different from like the stuff from like Poke Dreamer, in that, you know, it's got its own artwork that extends outside the card. So it's going to be unique per card. You've got, you know, this is specifically for Charizard VMAX. If I put, you know, some other graded card, like I stick the Magikarp in here, you know, it's going to look kind of weird, you know, having flames, you know, coming out the side of the water, or I guess that'd be the jungle because there's a waterfall. I can't even tell what's going on with the Magikarp. So you would want to make sure that you have the card for whatever case it is that you're ordering. But yes, Gem Mint Bin. I'll try to put a link down there in the description if you guys are interested in that. I don't have a code for you or anything like that. I was just reviewing the product, letting you see what it was. And then, yeah, next week on Tuesday, we will not have the live, or this upcoming Tuesday, there's not going to be a live. However, we will 2 weeks from now. So if you buy into the live for, say, booster packs or anything else, know that it's going to be next Tuesday. So not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. So do expect that. I will not be able to do the live that Tuesday night. And so, again, appreciate everyone who has been donating to the medical expenses for the Raws. And if you have anything or that you do want to donate for consignment, or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I can answer pretty much any question you need to know about that. But I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next live, if not sooner.